Monday morning, folks. It's Ash from being SWENGLISH, and I'm just catching up on the news over the weekend. And one of the challenges or frustrations of living abroad, away from your home country, is that things continue to go on in your home country, and you're watching it from afar with your face in your palms because you're just so appalled by it. One of the issues or the events this weekend was I won't even call it a protest because it wasn't a protest. It was a disgusting show of rioting and vandalism and violence in Bristol, which is the city that I spent 12 years in, and I love that city. It's a beautiful city in the southwest of England. And this riot was simply due to a change in a legal bill called the Police Crime Sentencing and Courts Bill. And if you look at just have a look at the YouTube videos of what happened during the day and especially at night in Bristol over the weekend. Now these idiots, there's no other word for it, these idiots, these protesting idiots rioted simply because of two changes to the bill. And a bill is basically a legal statute, I think, legal statute. It's a law, basically. And the changes to the law that are being proposed or being introduced are simply that police will have the power or the ability to impose a start and a finish time for a protest. That's the first one. Very, very simple and fair. Ultimately, protests generally always run out of control, it seems, because of the typical rent-a-crowd, violent, jobless, non-tax-paying idiots that have nothing better to do in life. They have no commitment, passion for anything but anarchy. And so when protests run out of control, police need to be there to protect the people who are peacefully protesting, but also to protect the public. So to set a start and a finish time on a protest, it's not a big ask. It means that the police and the council can coordinate how they're going to keep the streets safe. Simple. The other is that they can set noise limits. Now, a peaceful protest should be exactly that, peaceful. They don't call it a noisy protest. It's a peaceful protest in the respect that it's quiet, it's calm, it's violence-free, it's not a riot. So I don't think that's a big ask either. Now, just because of these two topics that have been added, plus the fact that they can impose this on a one-person protest if they want to. So one person shouting loudly in the middle of a street, causing civil unrest, can also be subject to these. Now, I don't see the big issue here. And yet, tens of thousands of people arrived in Bristol. Anarchists, violent thugs, that's all they are. And basically ripped the city to bits. They set light to things. They have vandalised the police stations. They have assaulted and attacked police officers, breaking bones, ribs. They have destroyed police property, police riot vans, police cars. They've set off fireworks in the centre of Bristol, a city where people were probably trying to make the most of this lockdown and, go out and socially distance and go for a walk in this lovely city on the water. And instead, they've been confronted by this violence and this vandalism. And if you look at the videos, most of these youths, these violent idiots, they look to be between the sort of early 20s to 30s, young, a lot of them talking about that these new rules are affecting their kids' futures. Well, I'm sorry, but if your kids are going to grow up to be mindless thugs that just simply protest constantly all the time and break and incapable of protesting peacefully, then you should be ashamed of your kids, quite frankly. And a lot of them talking about job centres and that that these new rules will limit their abilities. Well, how on earth does this bill affect your ability to get a job? Although this lot were your typical rent-a-crowd, scruffy-looking wasters, these absolute losers they just all needed scooping up and just transporting on SpaceX to a planet somewhere, because society, not only would the average IQ increase dramatically, but it would just be a better place, a safer place, because these same people are the type that turn up at other peaceful protests and turn them into riots. The big irony here really is that these thugs are protesting about the police having new powers to control protests. And look at what happened at this protest. Now, quite honestly, I don't know. I saw some video on this. There's a lot of videos on YouTube live from it. And you can tell that people just simply want violence. They're shouting F you to the police. These people do not make the law. They're not law creators. They are just people like you and I. The difference is, though, is that you and I and the police and I have a job. You, the people who were protesting or rioting, probably do not. So perhaps you don't understand the concept that a policeman is just doing his job. He's not a lawmaker. He has a family at home. He has probably children at home, she as well. And by throwing bottles at their faces, blinding them, breaking their arms, breaking their ribs, and attacking them as they did, that just is... How can they think that that's acceptable? I just don't understand it. It's so frustrating watching this from afar, not only because it's the UK, but it's a city that I spent most of my life, my adult life in. And I love that city. And I just think it's so sad. They were shouting, whose streets are they? There are streets. Well, most of these guys have never paid any tax in their lives. So actually, and on that basis, they won't be paying for any of the repairs to the vandalism that they've prompted over this last weekend as well. It's just so frustrating. There was lots of alcohol there. You could see them all drinking. There were lots of shots of, Castle Green, which is a lovely area, of people just sitting around laughing, joking, playing loud music and, having a good drink. It looked to me like, again, these, just using this protest as an excuse to have a good old piss up, basically. Everyone's been in lockdown. Everyone's frustrated. Most of us are following the regulations. In the UK, my friends and family certainly are. And they're not having, a festival in a field at the moment. But basically, a lot of them took that advantage over the weekend to do that. Quite frankly, they should have pulled out the CS gas, the tear gas. I'm surprised the police weren't using it, and I didn't see it used in any of the scenes. Water cannons, blimey, if ever there was justification for a water cannon. At one point, the police were literally in two lines with just thousands of protesters behind them either side, back to back, with people just at any opportunity assaulting the police, kicking them, hitting them, throwing anything they can at them. The police were massively outnumbered, and it was inevitable that this was going to get messy as it got later, because the people who are actually protesting do go home. The people who just want anarchy and violence and to commit crime are those that stay out later, and that's when it really gets messy, and unfortunately it really got messy. So it's just very, very frustrating to see this kind of individual in my home city destroying it. And I really, really hope, the fact that all of this is on YouTube, the fact that all of this was captured by the world's press and media live, means that their faces are all captured on screen. And that's what I love about the UK. In Sweden, no bloody CCTV here. Somebody scratched my car in a car park the other day. I went in and said, can I see the CCTV, please, at this time? Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have any. A car park not covered by CCTV. If you are raped, if you are mugged, if you are attacked in Sweden, you're screwed, because there's no CCTV anywhere, and it's pathetic. But in the UK, there is tons of CCTV all over the place, and I admire that, because from these protests, every crime that's just been committed is caught on camera. And even these people who pull up their masks, walking away from their crime, thinking that no one spotted their face while they were doing it, well, there's CCTV everywhere. So they follow you and they will capture you, and hopefully make you pay for the crime that you committed as well, in monetary value and hopefully some prison time. But it's very, very depressing. And I just hope that this, if anything, this will force through new laws. It will force through using more violence. It will give police more power to bring in water cannons and things like that, because yesterday, no hard-working policeman or policewoman should ever be subjected to that kind of violence. And so if anything, these anarchists have made their lives worse, because they will be pushed back when they try and do this in a more aggressive manner next time. The frustrations of living abroad and just watching this unfold from far away. Let's hope that the policemen and women, the hardworking individuals who tried to stop that happening yesterday, are all safe. and healing and recovering after what they were confronted with. Anyway, comment below your thoughts, guys. Give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Cheers.